Good morning to whoever is watching this at this hour. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are having a good day. For those who do not know, we woke up today with the United States launching an attack on Iran and its nuclear and military sites. And apparently, we've also bombed the Ayatollah, and apparently he's been assassinated. But Israel has confirmed that, so we don't exactly know. All of this is kind of happening a little bit real time right now. I got some videos, I got some things we can run through. We also got a video of Trump right here. So we're going to watch that. Let's just get a quick little read here. So President Trump announced Operation Epic Fury. I'm not opposed to that name. It's not a bad name, like, to be honest with you. Early Saturday, targeting Iran's nuclear programs, missile sites, naval assets, and senior commanders in major combat operations. Iran fired back with ballistic missiles at Israel and the United States bases, most intercepted, while claiming that civilian deaths at girls' schools without independent verification. Yeah, I heard that got up to, I think, 40. Don't quote me entirely on it, but I heard earlier reports, like when I woke up at like 9 a.m., it was like 25, and now I've heard that it's gone up to 40. So yeah, that did happen. Videos show the regime's opponents dancing and chanting support for Trump. Yeah, and I honestly do believe that the Iranian people, and even from what I've engaged with online, I had a few posts about Iran on my threads, and I've noticed that a lot of people are either like American first, like we don't do this because this is American first, or they're kind of on the fence of they don't want to do it because Trump wants to do it, right? Or you got the people saying they don't want to do it because it's in the best interest of Israel, right? And on that point, I want to something that like I understand, and I don't know, and I feel like people understand this. Like this is just kind of how like shit kind of happens sometimes. Like, I understand nowadays people have such a big disdain for Israel. And look, I understand why you guys got your beefs with the government. I do. I have my personal quarrels, and I'm like, I'm not really the biggest fan of you guys. I don't like always how you guys have treated everybody, and Palestinians and Christians over there in Gaza and the West Bank and all the resettlement. Like, I get it. We can go down that road. You know what I mean? But sometimes in life, you're gonna have a situation pop up where you're gonna have like you're gonna be looking at this, you're gonna be like, well, I know Israel wants to take out Iran. I know, it does benefit us if there is a free and liberated Iran because they'd be more a U.S. puppet. And I'm not saying that in a good way. I believe Don did say that this would be like for the people, and that's how this shit usually works out. Hopefully, better is that we go in there, we liberate them, and then we allow the people to establish their government. Like we help assist them in building that. We don't appoint people. We don't put a guy in there. Like I heard we may put the Shah's son. He may be in there, but I don't want to. I don't want us to do the puppet thing. But sometimes you're going to share best interest with Israel. It is what it is. Okay? Yeah, like, this is where they are our greatest ally come into play. And, like, yeah, to an extent, this is where having Israel as an ally does benefit the United States when we do perform operations like this. Because, we're allowed to use their military bases and etc. But I know we also been having military bases in Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, the UAE. Like we have military bases all over Iran, and I heard they've been bombing that as well. All right, let's see. Trump strikes followed Trump's new board of peace. Multilateral group warning Iran, drawing partisan U.S. divides and global calls for calls for calm. So I think it's interesting about the board of peace. It's going from
major combat.
it's going like it's kind of like where Trump's like, yeah, the United Nations isn't going to do what I want to do, so I just want to do my own board of peace or my own United Nations. So I'm like, hey guys, we're going to go do X thing, and then they're all like, okay. Like I I think he wants that like world approval, and he can get it that way. So yeah, let's start watching some of this, and I wanted to get into. I wanted to kind of break it down a little bit early on, but yeah, let's get watching
A
this.
short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and
We're
Syria
not putting
to
up
Iraq,
with it anymore.
the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
So I am kind of trying to let this play out a little bit more. I'm not trying to interrupt it because I kind of want to hear, because I watched a little bit of this earlier, and that's why I was like, okay, this would be good to kind of go over. That's kind of where all of this has stemmed, has been this nuclear weapons. And yeah, we can go ahead and talk about Israel's, how, they most likely have nuclear weapons, and we're not checking them. So I do believe there's a little bit of hypocrisy with us doing this with Iran so much and not checking Israel. But that being said, we told Iran, you guys ain't doing that. And we bombed the shit out of them because maybe Israel threatened that they were going to do something crazier. Maybe... I don't know, because that would be realistically the only other option. Maybe Israel was threatening about going in there, and maybe they were doing it. But again, that was kind of like a joint operation. U.S. bombed it. But we did take out the nuclear capabilities. We told them, you guys can't do it. Stop fucking around. They continued to do it. And then, now it's kind of like fuck around and find out. They ignored us. They played these games. We were kind of militarizing there for the last few weeks. We brought the Ford to the Lincoln, the Gerald R. Fords, went all the way from Venezuela over to the Lincoln. And we had our aircraft carriers over there. We had all of our bases on guard. We were moving planes into Greece for airplane military operations. We've been preparing for this for the last few weeks. And Trump's going to want to get this shit done before midterms. You do not want to have a long-standing war before midterms. And that's where I was honestly on the fence that if he was going to do this operation, because I heard that this could happen. But this is where I was like, maybe he's not going to do it because he wants to navigate midterms. But if he gets this shit as a quick done and liberates Iran, that's how he's going to frame it, which that's what it would be, let's be honest. And he frees 90 million people. That'd be such a big talking point for him and for Republicans going in the midterms. Um, but yes, we told them not to do it. They said they're going to continue to do it. And then there was like this ongoing last few weeks of like they were going to agree to us, they weren't going to agree to us, and now I think it's just gotten to a point where we clearly said we're done playing around, and I think this is going to have to be a quick operation by the United States. We cannot have a prolonged war.
That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons,
I think he's right about that. I really do. I think if in a perfect world, like ideally, they would be able to have like nuclear power and stuff like that to power their like cities and stuff, so they wouldn't have to like build so much dams and ruin their infrastructure, right? Like that's ideally, but the problem is we can't trust the government, right? So that's where I do understand where we would go in there and go, all right, sorry, you can't do this anymore. We're gonna take care of it, and it makes sense.
and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a
Like if they had those nuclear weapons, they probably it'd be a lot scarier. And maybe see this is where I now for me the conversation gets brought up where it's like, well, we should probably do a double check of some of the of our allies just across the board. To see who has nuclear weapons, who does it. Like we know some of the people that do. But at some point, we have to make sure that like governments like this don't get their hands on them because we don't want everybody and anybody having nuclear weapons. But if everyone did have nuclear weapons, like I mean, oof, doesn't Pakistan have nuclear weapons? I think Pakistan and India both do. Think about that.
means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's
annihilate
terrorist
their
proxies
Navy
can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration.
That is something Don's always done better at, in my opinion, is like strength. He's always just he shows his power through strength, in my opinion, and I do believe it's like you may not like him, we may not like what he says, but look, he's decisive. Say what you want. I don't believe under Joe Biden, and maybe like it could have happened. I know there was some operations because the United States is always performing operations. That's just always ongoing. But I do believe, like as a leader, Donald Trump is more decisive on his decisions. Like he's like I think he knew like I don't know if Biden and that administration would be able to do this. Obviously we know Obama would have been able to do this shit. Obama administration would have fucking gone in there and bombed the living shit out of them again. Back in the good days when Democrats had like actual fucking like balls. Clinton's probably Clinton, yeah, Clinton probably would have gone. I trust Bill probably do. We all know George W. had to, but I don't believe that Biden necessarily would have had this. Like, all right, let's go into Iran and let's just take care of this. That's where I do think Trump's like, that's where he's better at.
And there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The definitely Trump starting no new wars thing kind of wasn't true. And I remember I was talking to my buddies about that. I'll just be honest with this one. I was like, Trump wouldn't start a new war. I'm like, and they were like, yes, he would. And I'm like, okay, well, they're right. All right, well, yep, you're right. But I mean, I do see like there's a beneficial interest here. Like I don't think people quite understand because of how like restrictive the Iranian government is, especially on their I had to explain to people in the whole debate. I'm like, do you guys understand that like their government literally shut down the internet? Like, you could not, like, there was a reason why, like, out of nowhere, all the videos just went silent. Because they shut the internet down and they were killing people. Thousands of people. I heard reports as high as 40,000, and I heard shit as low as, like, 5,000, right? Or I think they reported 3,000. But that's what really annoys me about this whole thing is that, guys, we know this government is a radical regime, and we know it's not beneficial for everybody. And I don't think quite a lot of people know the actual I'm not an Iranian historian by any means, but I mean I like to say like I'm a history nut and I do know history, and I'm a self-proclaimed historian in my opinion. But when you look at the Iranian government and how they've always been, even kind of with the Shah, it's always been Persian influenced to an extent. And they also do have another religion there, by the way, it's like one of the oldest religions on earth. I think it was before Christianity, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that's the right one. Who knows? But I know there's not a lot of believers anymore. It's like a low count. But like Iran had all these beautiful monuments, architectures, things from the Persian Empire. They kind of destroyed during this like radical revolt. It's kind of like sad to see like how just throughout the regime's run they've kind of destroyed their culture, their history, anything that was kind of like there beforehand kind of just got messed up. But the Iranian people are, yeah, there's Muslim based now, but it's Persian. Those people are Persian, and they've had to get put in this position to where they're like, I think per government stats, there's like 100% like everybody in the country is Muslim. We know that's not true. Like, come on, it's like in the United States, everybody's Christian in the United States. We definitely know that's not true. Like that's just there's no way everybody in that country, 90 million people, all of them. Well, no, and that's the thing. Like there was videos of them burning down mosque like in Iran. So I don't think people quite know. And I heard, and I don't know if this was verified, I saw it on Twitter, so take it with a grain of salt, that the United States sent Iranian people like text messages, and it was like click, and it was like, the president hears you, if you guys are like, interested in this. And I think it was kind of like a poll or questionnaire that we sent out, because I think guys, we have ways to maybe contact them. I don't know, that could have been fake, so take that. I mean, that one I would like go fact check that one because I'm not too sure. But
we're doing this not for now, we're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death.
Take the deal. Just take the fucking deal. And this is the difference. Like, I honestly felt like what the United States has been for, like, Trump's going in there to just annihilate, take over. Like, this isn't some, like, we're going to take over some land and then just keep, regime change the government. No, like, we're going in there, we're Venezuelan in this bitch. That's what we're doing. So, if you're the government and if you're in the military or if you're anybody like that, you take that fucking deal. You can still keep probably, because they don't want to totally destabilize the country, like, you guys, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to keep some of the military, like, there together. Like, you don't want it to become disorganized, right? But there is going to be, like, a few bad apples in that military that you're probably going to have to get rid of. But they already know
So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or
He's right.
you will face certain death.
Damn.
Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran,
Damn.
I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
He's right about that.
For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight.
I think he's
now
right
you
about
have
that.
a president who is giving you
He's
what
right.
you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Damn. That was wow. What a fucking dude. Don, State of the Union, great speech. This one, great speech. Back to back, fantastic speeches, bro. No, I mean he's entirely right on. I'm trying to remember.
Moment for action. Do not.
This does require, like, part of, like, they need our military help to kind of kickstart this, but we do need the people to be on board with this, which I think they are. I mean, look, knowledge source me, but, like, I do believe that. I mean, it's not true. Like, when I was looking at on my Threads account, I posted something about Iran, and I think I was talking about this earlier. And I don't know if I fully said it or finished it, but a lot of the people who were supporting me were actually, like, when I checked their geolocations, because on Threads you can do that as well, it said Iran. A lot of the people who were, like, really defending me were people that I checked their accounts that said Iran. And the people who were going after me were more of, like, oh yeah, that's when I said earlier about, like, the whole, yeah. It's interesting. I think it was more like Americans, like, we don't want to go to war, and I'm like, no, guys, I understand that. I do recognize, though, because I would rather America any day of the week fix our at-home problems first, and I think Trump's doing that. But again, it's the office of the president is, like, a huge diverse position, right? You're in charge of so many different things. Part of this is military operations and foreign relationships, and look, if Trump sees it as a good beneficial to go in there, like, I'm not entirely against it, because I do recognize there's 90 million people in that country who need to get freed. And look at Venezuela. It's chill. I mean, it's great now. The economy's starting to boom. Everything's looking good down there. I haven't heard any bad, like, Notice how that after like everyone talking about Venezuela and how bad it was, and you got a lot of Venezuelans like, no, this shit's great, dude. What are you talking about? This guy was a dictator. We got like free now. Trump freed us. Like all this shit's great now. They can have our fucking oil. We don't give a shit. like it's funny when you saw that reaction, and now it's just I don't know. Everything seems to be working out quite all right. So, all right. So let's see what we got here. Let's refresh this just in case. Israel has assassinated Ayatollah. Yeah, I wonder if that is true. Bro, what? Dude, no fucking shot. Polymarket had a... What was it at? 56% chance? Damn, yes, what? Oh my god. Imagine. So it was even higher. Wait, hold on. What were the people thinking about this? Let's go since December. So it got high at one point. Okay, so everyone thought we were going to do it in more January, and then when it didn't happen, it started falling off. Damn. Well, there you have there. I'm attacking Iran because they have nuclear weapons. Why don't you attack Russia? Are you crazy? They have nuclear weapons. Oh, that's funny. No, not confirmed. Israeli Channel 4 cited that the unnamed source saying that growing indications was likely killed or at least hurt in today's Israeli attack, U.S. Israeli attack on his Tehran compound. Satellite images show heavy damage there. Yeah, dude, do you guys know this like Greek CIA guy? He is like John something. He's literally like, I literally my whole Instagram feed. I guarantee if I pull up my Instagram, you would see it. My whole Instagram feed like, for the last like 2 days has been filled with him. And I remember he literally was like, "Oh no!" Like when we go in, and man, he has like the Alvin and the Chipmunks voice, and he's like, "Oh no!" Like when we go in there, like it's like that shit, and it's like so funny when it like, transitions to like, "Oh no, we'll go in there and we'll just blow up the whole block." I'm like, what the fuck? And hearing him just talk about his like former I think he's like, cause his like information guy is like 25 years old, right? He was talking about this one guy that like literally like was like, yeah, like we had to wait, and then this guy like got out. He walked outside his window, and like we shot him with a missile. Like a missile went through him. He's like, there was no warhead on it. And he said, you know what's crazy? He's like, imagine being the guy that cleans that up. And he like, was like laughing about that. I mean, that is fucking hilarious. But that's what I also think is fucking hilarious about that guy. He's just like totally like, I don't even think PTSD or anything like that exists with him. He just has a fucking story after story. If you guys haven't seen him, go like look him up. Oh my god. That's actually kind of funny. Freedom, yeah.
I started this company. You know how much I sacrificed?
Oh, what a great movie. Great movie. Yeah, because again, that's the Iranian flag, because now it's the Islamic symbol. Or I think it's like a sword in there. George Washington, be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. I mean, that is true. I mean, guys, like, imagine if the United States wasn't here, and it was like up to Europe to figure this shit out in their current form. Sorry, guys, I'm a little under the weather right now with all my allergies. Fucking, it's been a rough season for me here. Fuck around and find out. All right, yeah. So no new wars. I saw this like on the trend chart earlier, and I was like, yeah.
Get those Marines. Commence Operation Firestorm. Send everyone. Get those Marines.
This is Warlord Roland. Strike packages Alpha.
Task Force Ripper.
Oh, why is it so zoomed up on my face, bro? Oh my god. Thank you. Let's see. I'm old enough to remember when we voted for no foreign wars. I'm old enough to remember Iran killing Marine soldiers, but I guess that's okay for you. War declared in 1979, so you're good. I fell for it. I thought Trump couldn't resist. Undefeated warhawks. I mean, that's just all of government, man. I thought too, though. No matter who you vote for, get John McCain. Oh, you get John McCain. I get it. Yeah, yeah. Warhawk. You must be at least 2 years old. Oh, well, don't vote for Trump next time. Vote for the gang that gives Iran millions in cash on bundles of pallets in order to continue driving terrorism around the world. Yeah, like Iran is like a big funneler of terrorism, unfortunately. That's just kind of like what happens there. Americans who voted for Trump for no more wars, affordability, mass deportation, not watching him send American soldiers to die for Israel in the new war. Yeah, like people have gone like again, like I understand like the criticisms of Israel, but I do believe that there is a little bit of a best interest for both of us. And guys, like to be honest with you, like these boys like they sign up for this. Like it's like they get paid, like they're performing military operations all year. Like we just don't hear about it all the time. So this isn't like some thing that they're just sitting on the couch 6 months, just pumping iron, doing nothing. Like no, they're performing basic operations constantly. So look, these guys sign up for it, and it's sad. Like that's the risk. Why do you think like a lot of like why do you think I don't like? I'm afraid to die. Who isn't afraid to die? Like I'm gonna go. Like I've always have respect for boys in the military. And look, if the United States was ever at a threat, like yeah, like I would definitely like consider joining, depending on what it is, because I don't know what the threat is. But I just for me, I've always been hesitant. Like I just been like I always felt like it'd be cool to be in the military. Like I've always like I've had a bunch of my family members be in the military. But my grandfather, he said I fought wars so you didn't have to, right? So, and he served in World War II. And I do understand. So I do try to go, my grandfather fought and he lived, so I didn't have to fight and live, and die. So I don't want to personally, it's just not my thing. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like I totally respect everybody, but there is like a subtle fear. I'm like, you could fuck around and you may find out. But I mean, that's the risk though, right? It's a trade-off. And I think some guys, they're born for that shit. That's just what they're like, that's just my bread and butter. There will be no new wars, just regime change. Iran is free. Yeah, like, I don't know. That's where I'm more at. Iran chants debt to America daily, wants to build nuclear bombs. It benefits Americans from avoiding the future of actual worse wars. Agreed. How are people going to disagree with this one, though? Are you thick? Always is something. You think if they were... This would have been like 10 times worse than Threads, by the way, if this guy posted this. You think if they were to build a nuke, that they would use it on the U.S.? Yeah, I do. Actually, I do believe it. Yeah, if Iran had nukes, they would use it. Or at least threaten the United States. They would have a lot bigger leverage to use. Think of it like that. That's not how nukes work. They are built so no other countries can bomb them ever again. Israel hates that Iran is the only threat to them in the Middle East. Israel's been pushing this for years. Iran has Muslim extremist government who chants debt to America daily. They want nukes for political leverage to make their threats the actual mean something. Actually, he's right about that. LOL, look at North Korea. They've been saying the same shit to the U.S. for years, but because they have nukes, it doesn't mean they'll use it protection. Iran is easier to infiltrate and attack for CIA, Mossad, etc. I mean, oh my God. See, this is what I mean. Like, everyone's just on the, like... Like, I get it. Like, I get why everyone's, like, mad at Israel. But, dude, like, there is some, like... This will free Iran. Like, and guys, at one time, Iran and Israel did get along, like, really well. And that's not that uncommon. Alright, so let's see. Let's refresh this one, just in case if anything new happened. U.S.-Israel launch airstrikes in Iran, epic fury operation. Trump announced that the coordinated strikes in a Truth Social video urging Iran's Revolutionary Guard to surrender, civilians overthrown. Yep, we've seen a lot of that. fired back with English fired back with missiles at Israel and U.S. bases in Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and the UAE, while claiming hits on civilian areas like girls' schools. The action follows months of tensions over Iran's nuclear rebuild and deadly 2025 protests, drawing the Republican praise and Democrat calls for congressional approval amid escalation fears. This is where like the one thing that I think it sucks about fucking bureaucracy sometimes, man. I really do. It's because like this is, in my opinion, like such an obvious call, and it's like, what are we gonna do now? Have Congress debate this shit fucking for like 9 months, and then all of our shit gets leaked out to the public because there's so many fucking spies in that government. It's like, Trump was able to just decisively act, and he's going to get it done. And now, look, what's going to justify this whole thing, and he knows this, is how quickly he gets this war done. He cannot have a prolonged war for the next 3, 4, 5 months. That's just not possible. He can't afford that. Because if he takes this shit going in the midterms, that's going to look bad going for Republicans that you guys started a war right before, like in an election year. But look, if he takes care of this war now in... Well, look, if the guy is dead or seriously hurt, that may be like the big piece that starts it falling. Who knows what would happen, but if he gets this shit done within the next few weeks, I would say 2-3 weeks, if he gets this shit done, no one's going to care. And if Iran is if it's like a Venezuelan situation, like ideally it would have been nice if it happened overnight, but we know that's not possible with something like Iran. We now have entered the phase of Trump's presidency where Democrats take sides with Islamic dictatorship. That is actually very fucking true. Sorry guys, again, my allergies. Democrats have been doing this, or have been doing that before Trump. Obama negotiated with Iran. Trump negotiated with Iran. I mean, yeah, I guess Obama was a little friendlier with Iran. Like, he did allow them to start the nuclear programs and stuff like that. But that being said, I mean, he did bomb other parts of the Middle East. Whatever Trump does, they will always choose the opposite. Not one person left that cared about ICE until Trump became president. That's so true. No one gave a shit about ICE. You look at, like, the confrontations that ICE had, like, Biden's year. It was like arrest and stuff like that. There was only like I think like 50 or 60. Like the number was like insanely low. Like there was no one interfering with ICE operations, and it's gone up insane amount. For my next trick, I'll make the Democrats support Iran. And that's the thing that people do get annoyed with. It's like there is never like. That's why I do respect Fetterman. I know Democrats, like especially on Threads, dude, they fucking hate like Fetterman. It's like the easiest like post. I post anything about Fetterman, it always like the comments are blowing up. Fuck Fetterman. He's a Nazi extremist. He's a Nazi extremist that supports Israel. Think of it like that. That's literally what some of these people are fucking saying in these like Threads shit. I'm like, do you guys hear yourselves? Like you're calling him a Nazi extremist. He's a Republican, and he's a Mossad agent. Okay. That's, I guess, John Fitterman to these people. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, like, you can go check my Threads account. It's actually insane. You go type John Fitterman on my Lawn Chair Pope account on Threads, you will see, like, all those, usually those posts are the ones that blow up, and everyone just fucking, it's just all Democrats being like, oh, I hate him, he doesn't represent me. And then there's, like, always, like, a few Republicans in there are like, thank God there's, like, a Democrat with common sense. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I just think he has common sense. And I think if Democrats were smart enough, they would pivot to him. And I can't believe I'm saying that. Like, I really do think his policies and, like, yeah, I mean, he was a socialist. I mean, he supported Bernie back in, like, 2016. Oh, here, let's just go to his post, I think. Here.
Wrote this: acts of war unauthorized by Congress. The U.S. is attacking Iran, according to the AP. What is your response to Massey and to your colleagues who don't agree with this?
No, that's bizarre. You know, I'd like to remind my colleague over in the House that Iran massacred 30,000 of their own people right now. This war is not about the Iranian people. It's about this poisonous regime. And that's why I'm proud to stand with our military. I'm proud to stand with Israel, too. I might be a Democrat, but in this specific case, the president is absolutely correct to do these kinds of actions. And now we have Israel's back. And now that's why it's entirely the path for peace in that region. How many treaties, how much negotiation? I never thought they would work. Iran has only ever responded to these kinds of things. And now here we are right now, and they have the opportunity, real peace, and to change the.
I really wish like he was more pivoting it into like, not just so blind backing Israel. Like, I wish this was like, no, because we want to free the people of Iran. I wish that was more of the message. I do think he says that eventually. I'm not too sure.
Their way committed to trying to destroy Israel and destabilizing the entire region.
Yeah, like, so he's coming at it from more of like protecting Israel, which I'm like, I get it. I just wish like that wasn't the message, because like I don't like how much our government does support him. I'm more don't like the financial backing. Like, look, I don't care if we perform military operations with them. That's fine. But as long as we didn't financially back their entire like shit, I just hate that. Like, all that money should just be taken and used somewhere else.
Word that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia says they will join the U.S. in the operation against the Islamic Republic of Iran. They said that this comes in the wake of Iran attacking the U.S. base in Saudi Arabia. I just spoke to a senior U.S. official who said the Iranians made a big mistake by firing on Arab coalition partners. Now they are likely to respond. So by Iran.
Yeah, because remember, guys, Iran attacked Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia. Now, mind you, they were going after U.S. bases in those regions. But that being said, like, they fucked around. Now they're about to find out. Like, now Saudi Arabia is going to get involved, and I don't know if Qatar, any of them are
firing missiles at UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. They are now likely to fire back at Iranian targets. So those coalition partners are now going to enter this operation that started off as a U.S.-Israeli operation.
And guys, you don't think like those, like fucking Saudi Arabia, Turkey, probably even Afghanistan, you don't think like those countries want this shit to get dealt with too? Like, they don't want Iran being this constant threat in the region.
And that is very, very significant, and we haven't seen that happen in the past. The U.S. military has been focusing on high-value targets, I'm told, the IRGC, significant facilities. What I can say is new right now. We're just getting word that the Kingdom of...
I always get caught up sometimes watching the clip. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just a whole news clip. It's just going to keep going on. Iranians are taking to the streets worldwide, with many see as dancing in Australia. Former shot. Look at the flags. See, like, guys, look how, like, this is in Australia. They're waving the American flag and they're waving the Australian flag. Like, why the fuck can, like, our protest here get that shit in line? Like, you guys can wave your fucking other country's flag, but throw a fucking American flag in there once in a while. It'll keep you guys, like, PR good. That's kind of I was like listening to it, I was like, man, it's kind of a catchy song. All right, Iranian students celebrate airstrikes. I love Trump. Is that what he said? And the sad truth is, like, a lot of people don't. Like, I don't think a lot of Americans remember, like, Iran, like, they had a very good perception, or at least for a long time, like, they had a good perception of the United, like, we had a good relationship. And then, the country went through this dark period, and we stopped, like I said, I think I said in a previous video, if you guys, like, I may link it, or if it's there, and I said that Iran is like the United States' long lost, like, girlfriend. We've always loved Iran for some fucking reason. We've always just had a little bit of like an interest over there, and we've been upset for a very long time that they have not been good friends with us. We have. So that's where I do, because I've seen videos, and there is one in here that it's crazy when you look at some of these old videos of Iran, and you're like, whoa, kind of feels like America in like some ways, like early that time period of I love Trump. That is fucking great. Okay, so liberal media won't report on that one. Damn. It is crazy, dude. Like, we live in a generation where, like, I'm sitting over here in America watching just a war unfold in real time. Like, you couldn't even imagine that, like, 10, 15 years ago. It'd all be from what the news and the media would show you, not with this. I love that just extra tears.
میهنان عزیزم، لحظاتی سرنوشت ساز پیش روی ماست. کشور گشته به خیابان‌ها.
Okay.
با وجود سر
I respect him for doing it in the language, but your duty is to defend the people, not defend the regime that has taken our homeland hostage through repression and crime. So for context, he is the Shah. He was the former king of Iran, I believe from the 1950s to 1979 or 78, somewhere around there. He was the leader of Iran, and I believe he fled to the United States, and that's where he ended up living his life out. This is his son, that is now like kind of been spearheading the Free Iran campaign, and I believe he did say that he would go back and be like in charge, to be like, you know, to pass it over to the government, like just to be like a figure to stabilize. I don't know what is he. I have a buddy that's Iranian. His dad fled the country during the regime takeover, and he said the Shah wasn't great. Like that's quote from him, a guy who lived there. He said the Shah wasn't great for a lot of things, but I like to kind of bring up the point, like, well, when you look at what it is now versus what it was beforehand, I do believe that there probably was some things that were better. Not all was great, though. Like I said, I'm not trying to speak too much on if he should be in power there, because I don't really know. That's up for the people to decide that one. So again, GB News is also reporting the same thing.
Oh, wow.
The Israel Channel 12, who are now reporting.
So everyone's reporting the same, like,
that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is dead.
Oh, wow.
That the Iranian supreme leader has been killed in the airstrikes launched by the United States and Israel today. A determined effort by President Donald Trump to topple the Iranian regime. And if true, the reports coming to us now from Israeli Channel 12 that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is dead, then they have indeed toppled the very head of that regime. And the consequences and ramifications of that can only be guessed at, because we have also been reporting just in the last few minutes that the Iranian Defense Minister, Amir Nasirazdeh, and also the Iranian, I should say, commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Commander Mohammed Pakpour, is also dead. These two top officials, one a military official, the other a civilian official in charge, of course, of the military, the Iranian defense minister, and the head of the...
This is the video that I was... Like, guys, doesn't that not look like America? Like, this looks like America in, like, the 60s and 70s. Like this when I look at these people. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I don't see much of a difference is what I'm saying. Like, that American women wore that. Yeah, damn. I think people forgot how pretty Iranian women are. Apparently that, like, I know during his, like, this is, I believe, I don't know if it's this chair, but it has like some of like the most jewels on it, like, in the world. Like, there's not another royalty chair that has as much like crown jewels on it. Like, even like the crown that his wife wore had like an insane amount of jewels. It is kind of crazy. Like, they had, I guess, one of the largest like diamonds and rubies and like shit. Like, compared, it's like they were on par with like the United Kingdom. You know, the UK had to colonize that. they like that crown has like the most, like, apparently, like, diamonds. Look at that. How insane that is. That's Richard Nixon. I think, right? And the sad part, I don't know how much of that because they, at least the government in this time did a good job preserving some of their, like, history and stuff. I don't know how much of that is left because of the Islamic regime, but it is kind of, like, sad. Like, this is kind of like, damn, like, I'm looking at this going, I would visit this place. Like, I would book a ticket and travel to this place easily. Holy fuck. Free Iran. Free the women of Iran. Holy shit. There's a lot of war in here. I'm not gonna cap. There's some interesting interviews of the Shah talking. I'd recommend you guys go look into that. I know some people don't like all the pomp and stuff. I've always kind of fucked with all those royal traditions and stuff like that. I don't know, like, I've always, like, I'm not like anti, like, UK, like, I'm not with when it came to their royal family. Like, I've always thought that shit was kind of cool, like, because we didn't have that. So I'm always like, that's kind of part of their culture, and it's kind of cool. I do wish that their king was actually able to, like, do shit though, because, like, bro, state of the UK right now, if they had a real king, would not allow that. Just saying. Any of the former kings, bro, they would never have allowed that shit. Even Queen Elizabeth kind of allowed it, but I don't even think she would have allowed it to get this bad.
Boy, به تو زدن. Boy.
Wait, did we see the explosion?
به زدن.
They sound a little happy. That sounded a little happy. U.S. military deployed. Oh shit! What? Wow! U.S. military deployed new technologies for these strikes against Iran, including using a one-way attack drone for the first time. These were highly successful, overwhelmed Iran's air defense system. So we just had kamikaze planes, kamikaze drones.
The U.S. military used some new capabilities in these strikes. For the first time ever, the U.S. military used one-way attack drones in combat. I think we're the first to report that. But there were hundreds of targets in what is being described to me as a multi-day operation. The Iranian
Look at all
response.
guys, look at all the fucking ships around here. Holy shit. Oh my God.
has been ineffective, I'm told, but then I'm also getting reports
now you wonder why our
that
budget for our military
a large
is so
number,
fucking high.
possibly
Holy
135 Shahid drones, those are Iranian drones, may have targeted the U.S. Navy base, the head of Fifth Fleet in Bahrain, and may have struck targets there. But again, we don't have the battle damage assessment yet. We're waiting for CENTCOM to see what has been struck, and we expect to get a briefing later today.
So the United States is
some
kamikaze drones. That's lit. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Every leftist on X is crying about Iran's evil dictators being removed from the earth, and every single one of the Iranian people are celebrating and dancing like there's no tomorrow. This has been extremely eye-opening. Yeah, these people don't look very upset. Yeah, these people do not look very upset. I'm not gonna lie, she was vibing. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, Iran has responded with U.S. attacks launching multiple retaliatory strikes on U.S. facilities.
Okay.
Isn't that just fucking like, dog? I just can't. This is insane. Like, just, wow. The dude caught like literally a perfect fucking angle. Damn.
Oh my god. Okay.
Wait, let's see if I can catch him mid-flight. There it is, right there.
What the fuck?
Wow. Raw footage, shocking video captures the moment Iranian missiles strike the Fairmount and the Palm Hotel in Dubai, igniting massive fires amid retaliatory strikes of U.S.-Israeli attacks on Iran. So this is in Dubai. Cameraman needed to get a little better on that angle. I'm not going to even lie. Abu Dhabi City is under attack. Or I guess because that's where U.S. strikes are. Oh no, just city center is struck. Wow. I don't know, like, that's just, like, next level to look at.
It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
At this operation. Yep. Unfortunately, the modern Democratic Party is pathetic in the face of...
Let's take a quick look to see if there's anything else that's happened now since I've been recording. World War II, you are here. World War III, so true. What the? What are we fucking doing here? I'm sorry.
Oh my god! Even though from what? We're flying to Philadelphia! Oh hell no! That's hell no!
Yeah, that's a great representation there. Can't even lie. Let's see what we got here. A raft is vibing. Yeah. Kim Jong-un with missiles mistakenly dropping. Is this how our generation just copes with war? We just make fucking memes about it. Kim Jong-un with missile accidentally lands in North Korea. It's so dumb.
No, I'm Castiel.
Okay, so that seems like to be the end of that. Alright, I was just checking Iran. Oh. James Fishback statement posted. I already read the first fucking few words and I said, yep. I have no sympathy for the Iranian regime. They oppress women. They prosecute Christians. They are brutal and illegitimate. But if that's the standard, we should be bombing a dozen countries across the world today, including several that we call allies. Don't let Washington tell you this is about human rights. Oh, I should have read it more. Don't tell Washington this is about human rights or our safety and security. It isn't. It's about Israel, once again, dragging us into other wars, expecting us to foot the bill in blood and money. President Trump ran on no wars. So did George W. Bush. So did Barack Obama. Yeah, well, that shit happens. You know, it is what it is. And yet, here we are again, another war nobody voted for and started without a single vote in Congress. As governor of Florida, I will never allow 12,000 men and women of Florida and the National Guard to be sent in foreign wars. Okay. So, I mean, he's just doing a PR statement. I agree with the idea that this is definitely like Israel. Like, sure, I know people are like Israel. But I do believe that this is, and we've seen some of the videos. Like, I do believe that there is like this would benefit the people of Iran, and like anyway, like guys, like they're having a water crisis in their own country. Like guys, it's bad. Like there's parts of the city where electricity is just shut off, or the country. Like, I don't like so that's why I get it. We positioned ourselves in this weird position that we are the world power. Now China doesn't give a fuck about Iranian regime because they have deals. So I feel like, yeah, the United States is really the only opportunity to where this happens. And if this is a quick war, then nothing, this is all whatever. But yeah, Trump definitely fucking, he was wrong. He said no new wars and he started it. So I get the anger there. It's official. The greatest Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, called and notified the Gang of Eight ahead of time before President Trump strikes Iran, including a call to Hakeem Jeffries. Trump admin notified Congress and did the right thing. So he looks like he did contact. God, I wish I didn't fucking have so much mucus. Oh my lord. Exiled Iranian women in the Netherlands cried tears of joy after the U.S. bombed Iran, and the Islamic regime may be in its final days. Fuck all the leftists who deny them the right freely in their homeland. And yeah, this is where I want people to understand that like their country has, and these probably women maybe remember, they look old enough to remember, like to be around that time to remember life before Shah. And that's where it's like I agree with Fishback that we don't want to send boys to die in useless wars. However, I believe that this is a war of, I actually don't mind the narrative. This is a liberation war. Like, we're liberating Iran. We should. I'm tired of hearing Iran with all these fucking bullshit threats. These people never thought in a million years that there's actually an opportunity now that they will potentially free. Like, think about that, guys, for a split second. There's not many countries in the world that can do this. And that's the difference. It's like if we have the power, I'm partially okay with us using it to do good like this. I understand. Israel, it benefits Israel too. I get it. And in a perfect world, the United States would turn around and say, all right, Israel, put your nuclear arms emissions. We have to have people check them out. We know you guys got nukes in there. Okay, we know. Like, so you got to allow us to go in there, allow the UN to go in there or whatever, to go check him out to make sure what you guys are following, the laws and the protocol, whatever. I really wish we had a double standard. Like, now that we're freeing Iran, we should go turn around and like say, okay, to Israel, you should start denuclearizing if you have nukes. Woman cutting her birthday cake in Iran, 1973, 5 years before the Islamic Revolution. Yep. Crazy time, guys, and that's what people like are going to be okay with Iran's government being there. Obama funded Iran's nuclear program. Khamenei, I just don't want to fuck it up. And Iran's nuclear program that Trump is destroying. He knew exactly where those funds would go. He sent them pallets of cash and released the balance. Another Obama move against America's interest.
The United States and Iran are now settling a long-standing Iranian government claim against the United States government. Iran will be returned its own funds, including appropriate interest, but much less than the amount Iran sought. For the United States, this settlement could save us billions of dollars that could have been pursued by Iran, so there was no benefit to the United States in dragging this out.
Why?
The United States.
Okay, hold on. $400 million in cash, part of the $1.7 billion total that was airlifted to settle in the 1979 arms deal dispute. Okay, so we pretty much took some of the money. Okay, with Obama stating that returned frozen Iranian funds plus interest. Well, because the government changed. Interest to avoid litigation. Accompanying video features Obama's press. Okay. What was my question I wanted to ask? Fuck. Because I kind of did answer it. I was like looking for the amount. Did we have to give it? I'm just wondering, Yes, the United States was legally obligated to return the $400 million plus interest in Iran as part of the long-standing settlement. This wasn't optional. Giving back money attributed it stemmed from a pre-1979 arms deal and froze assets tied to international agreements. In the 1970s, under the Shah, Iran paid the U.S. via Foreign Military Sales Trust Fund for military equipment, including advance payments. The U.S. froze these funds, including the remaining $400 million balance after the 1979 revolution and the U.S. Embassy hostage crisis. In 1981, was Algiers Accords, which ended the hostage crisis, unfroze most of Iran's assets that created the Iran-United States Claims Tribunal at the Hague to resolve the remaining financial disputes, including trust fund claims. Iran had active decades-long claim at the tribunal for a return of principal $400 million plus interest, which Iran argued at the time high rates, potential up to billions more if fully litigated. In January 2016, the Obama administration settled specific claim, 1.3 as negotiated promise on interest. The administration described it as prudent policy to avoid potential much larger tribunal award against the United States, saving taxpayers billions, resolved in a 35-year dispute. Legal experts, sources including from the State Department, bookings, institutions, analysts, tribunal confirmed the $400 million portion was Iran's frozen funds and the U.S. legitimate obligation under the tribunal process to return it to face arbitration risk. The initial $40 million was delivered in cash via plane foreign currency on the same day 4 Americans were released from Iranian detention. Critics, most Republicans, called it ransom, arguing that the timing and cash nature implied leverage for prisoners released. The administration instead, the settlement prisoners released were separate tracks, though it later admitted holding the payment briefly as leverage to ensure the Americans' safe departure, not as payment for their release. So yeah, it's like they were going to do it anyway, and they were like, all right, let's just hold the money a little bit, then you'll give it back. In short, legally and contractually, yes, the U.S. had to return the money. All right, so at least we cleared that one up. Because I was like, I get it, but if we had to, then fine. Okay, so now it's 51. 51 Iranian children and 60 students wounded after the U.S. joined Israel. when some people in England recoiled at the thought of bombing the IRGC and the Muhans in Iran, would like to remind them, when they call for death of England, I say give them death. They did it for you guys too? Oh, they did both of us. All right. I mean, guys, we've known this. They've been doing this for how long?
اگه یه روز بری سفر بریز پیشم بی خبر اسیر رویاها میشم دوباره باز تنها میشم به شب میگم پیشم بمونه به باد میگم تا صبح بخونه از دیار یاری چرا میری تنها میذاری اگه فراموشم کنی ترک آغوشم کنی پرنده ی دریا میشم تو چنگ موج رها میشم به دل میگم خاموش بمون.
It's crazy, isn't it? I don't know. I think when you see videos like this and then when you like compare it to now, it's always like, for me, it's always like, damn, what the fuck happened? Really? Wow. Guess the bots are trying to do their work. All right, so I think that's kind of where we're at. So, bunch of bombings, bunch of things have gone down. The U.S. bombed them overnight, or I guess kind of did it in the morning, it seems like. This is a crazy situation. We'll kind of watch it unfold a little bit. This is kind of like a quick rundown to see what happens and just kind of get some quick thoughts and opinions on it. Overall, I'm not surprised that the U.S. went in there, and to be honest with you, I think it's about time that we just go in there and just get rid of them. Because, like, the people of Iran need to be free. There's 90 million of them, and obviously, like, there's probably some that do support the current regime, but I guarantee there's a lot more that don't. And yes, there's not a lot of public data that backs it, because how are we going to get data if the government fucking locks out journalism, throws people in jail if you speak out against the government? So this is a total authoritarian regime that's killed people. So yeah, I think it's probably in the best interest of the world if this government just kind of just gets replaced. I just would like to see it. The people, can build their own government, and it's not the U.S. putting puppets in there, because we have a history of that. It never works out. I'd rather than them just say, hey, let's help you guys form a government. We'll help you guys, like, let's start getting people elected, running elections. Like, that's what we should be trying to do. Help building their country, stabilizing it. And they're going to need help with the water crisis here, because they're out of water and it's bad. So yeah, if you guys like these videos, you want to see more of this, you guys got any questions, thoughts, opinions, please drop them down below. I try to keep up with this when I can. Sorry guys, I haven't been as consistent with the videos. I've been trying to keep them weekly, posting a few videos a week. So I've been a little busy dealing with some shit. So yeah, overall, this is an interesting situation. We'll kind of watch it unfold here. If we have to make another video about it, we can. If there's like more shit that happens, because there probably will be. But yeah, crazy thing to happen. So if you guys like this, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, follow me on my socials if you guys want to interact with me on those platforms as well. Yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Be safe. Yeah, that's about it.